Hello.
Hey, Tony, how you tonight?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I am doing good. Welcome to the show. First hosting.
Whew, I'm a little nervous. You know,
We'll be
it's a
fine.
little,
You've been on the show, so you was a guest one time.
yeah,
Right.
it's a little different being a guest than being the host. We're coming in filling some really big shoes with Rachel being the host of the show for so long and doing such a wonderful job as host. And, we're stepping in for her. So it's,
Yeah, I know. I
we're
know
going to make
you.
it through.
Yeah, I know you guys are missing Rachel in many ways, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, definitely big shoes to fill, but she did a wonderful job making sure we're prepared for her transition. So this being one of them, making sure that we have people to continue on with hosting what's happening Rolesville.
Mhm.
So this just shows that how successful we're going to be moving forward and the infrastructure that's already in place and the legacy that she left for
That,
us.
that's right. And I think Terry came to our board meeting Tuesday night, and a couple times she mentioned that y'all are now a working board.
Yes,
So,
as you can
so
see.
So everybody's pitching in, doing.
Mhm.
I guess Rachel being gone, everybody on the board is having to pitch in and do a little stuff. Is that what's happening?
Absolutely. That's what's exactly happening. So as you can see, I'm hosting today, and we have several other board members that will host some of the future shows coming up. So yeah, we're gonna do whatever we gotta do to keep the ball rolling. Rachel's done a lot of great things for us, and we're just gonna keep moving forward. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And I think this is a special month from Women's History Month. I think,
Yes.
and
So
yeah, and I think y'all had a big event. Was it yesterday? I was out of town yesterday, but I believe it was Wednesday.
yeah, so a wonderful event happened on yesterday here in the town of Roseville. The chamber sponsored a International Women's Day brunch. It was absolutely amazing. It was actually a sold out event. We had to turn people away, unfortunately, just because we reached our limit. But it was wonderful. We had women, very diverse crowd of women that came in and just celebrated us as a community, us as business owners, us as leaders. It was a phenomenal event. One of the takeaways that I have from the event, one of our panelists shared that it was some news for me. She shared that the first woman to own a business without having a man have to sign for her was only allowed. It wasn't allowed until 1980. That's that was
1980.
right. I was born then. So I mean
Yeah,
I'm old, but it's I kind of think like it's not so far removed. We're not so far removed from getting to
yeah,
the point where we still had to have men do certain things for women. So um
yeah.
yeah,
That is, that is amazing that it was that late. I saw somewhere this past week, it had to do with credit cards, and I don't remember the date, but it's just very recently that women could have a credit card just under their name without a cosign of a male on there. And I don't remember the date on it, but it seemed like that was maybe in the 80s or something like
yeah,
that, if you remember.
yeah.
Um,
It's so
but
interesting. A lot of people ask, well, why do you have to have International Women's Day? Well, it's because we still have a lot of work to do to make things equitable for women. And so that was just kind of like what we're doing is kind of we rallied together to celebrate each other, to, just kind of discuss some of the things that we've experienced in our journeys as women and just, share and try to inspire each other to move forward. So yeah, it was a really, really, really awesome event. We got a lot of great feedback from the event, so it's definitely going to be an annual event. Definitely looking forward to continuing that for sure.
Well, that is really good. I saw the picture of the panelists. It seemed like it was about 8 panelists or something like that. It was quite a few, wasn't
We had six panelists. To share who they were, we had Gina Avila. She was with the, I'm probably going to say it incorrectly, but the Women's Enterprise Interest Institute. I may say it wrong, but I'll get it together before we end the show.
it? It's okay.
And then we had Angela Hubbard, who owns Angie Watts, which is a skincare
Mhm.
company. We had Erica Dixon, who owns eFit for Life, which was a health and wellness company. We also had one of our board of directors for the chamber, Annette Henson from Greenway Beer and Wine right here in
Right.
Rome. And lastly, we had Tanya Mitchell Allen from Bank of America, who runs or covers quite a bit of different entrepreneurship and small business initiatives for Bank of America. And she's also an attorney. So we had a very good, diverse group of women panelists. Some of them are mothers, working mothers. So we talked a little bit about what is it like to be a mom and work. We had some great feedback. Some of them were very transparent. Was like, I don't know. I don't have it. I don't know the steps. I just get up every day and I make sure my kids eat, they're taken care of, and we're good to go. So
it's just a part of life.
So, but to cycle back, Gina Avilia, somebody gave me a little heads up. It was Women's Empowerment Institute.
Right.
That's
right.
First floor.
Right. Yeah. And I think you mentioned a couple of women that are, I know, business women here in town, like the Greenway's Beer and Wine, I think it's called, or something.
Yep, Greenway Beer and Wine.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I was wondering, do you know how many women-owned businesses is in Rolesville?
So I don't know the number of women-owned businesses in Rolesville per se, just because I'm not quite sure how to get all that information because it changes so frequently. But I can tell you the number of women-owned businesses that are part of the chamber. So we have currently 83 women-owned businesses.
Wow.
Part of the chamber. That was something I wanted to kind of see if I can get that information put on the screen, but it was so many. I was like, I don't think I have the space to be able to share that many number of women-owned businesses. So it was pretty significant and quite impressive, the number of women-owned businesses that we have and the diversity of businesses that they own. I mean, we have people that have like cremation and funeral services to bakeries to, of course, like myself, primary care services. So, I mean, it's a great diverse group of women in our community. So there are a lot of women-owned businesses in our community. And so if anybody wants more information, they can always go to the chamber's website and then just search for women-owned businesses in our area.
That's good. 83, that sounds like it's probably at least about 50% or somewhere close to it or more, ain't it?
Not quite. Let's see. I can't do that math that fast in my head. We have well over, no, I don't know. It may be maybe 33%, maybe a third.
Yeah, that's still pretty good.
Not quite a half, but it's a significant.
I would think in time, as time goes on, it's probably going to be half. I would think it would probably be half because I think the rate of women opening businesses is pretty rapid. I mean, I see a lot of it.
Right. Studies have shown after the pandemic, women-owned businesses has increased greater than most other. So the entrepreneurship for women-owned businesses skyrocketed. Again, I don't know the exact data, but since the pandemic, we saw a large increase in women-owned businesses, especially Black women-owned businesses since the pandemic. Right.
Well, the weather's been good, so that's a good thing around town. I think people are starting to get out a little bit, and that's good. So I think there's quite a few things that'll be going on in Rolesville, and we'll probably maybe hopefully we'll have time to hit on those a little bit towards the end of the show. But I'm ready to start maybe one of our guests if you're ready, Tony.
Hey, I am. I don't know a whole lot about them. I'm going to allow you to do the introductions on them. I do know. So we do have Bill Harrell from Hopper Communities, who's going to be, he's our first panelist up. And then we're going to talk to Melanie Crippen from the Senior Network. I do know I've conversed with Melanie on several different occasions, but I haven't had the opportunity to talk with Bill until today. But this is going to be a very good show. After speaking with him backstage, he's going to bring some great information and some energy and spunk to the show. So I'm excited to have him come on. So we're going to go ahead and bring Bill on, and I'll see you guys back in a little bit.
Thank you. Hello there, Bill. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Mayor Currin. Thank you for having me.
Well, good. I know. I guess we've been knowing each other now for maybe a couple years, probably, maybe even longer than that, maybe 3 years or so. But
I would say at least that, probably approaching 5.
Oh no, well, I'm a bad judge of time. I really am.
Time
But
flies when you're having fun.
yeah, that's right. Time, when you get my age, time goes by really quick. It's the years just fly by pretty quickly. But just Bill, I know who you are. Being one of the significant players in town that's working on the development side, bringing some new homes into town, but also now in
Yes.
the second one you're bringing in actually some commercial that we need, and that's a pleasure to talk about that a little bit. Kind of introduce yourself if you would,
Sure.
and maybe talk about a little bit of your relationships around town.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, Mayor, thank you so much for having me on tonight. It's a pleasure and honor to sit with you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you directly. And you've got your pulse on the thumb on the pulse of what's going on in Rolesville, and you're always a valuable resource of information. But just a little bit about me. I grew up in Eastern North Carolina, Hosky specifically, and I went to ECU for college and studied urban and regional planning. And as a matter of fact, I was a city planner in South Carolina for a couple of years. I graduated in '96. And so I worked in city planning for a couple of years, and before I moved back up to North Carolina. Gosh, that was in '98. So I've been in Raleigh for approximately 25 years. Mm-hmm. And when I moved back into Raleigh, I got into real estate sales. And then I got into land developments, sale, like brokering land for development. And then, gosh, I did that for 20 some years. And then Hopper Communities came along, Bart Hopper, the founder. We met on one particular deal, actually over in Durham, and we partnered on an apartment deal there, 10 years ago, and we've been together ever since. And so we do business. We're based in Charlotte, but I'm here in Raleigh, and like I said, I have been here for 25 years, and we do single family and townhome type development, a little bit of commercial and multifamily, but our primary focus is single family and townhomes. And we do things. We've got projects in Durham, a couple in Rolesville here, a couple of big ones in Rolesville, Johnson County, Clayton area, and we've done business in Fuquay, pretty much the surrounding area. But Rolesville is unique because first there's a little bit more land available in Rolesville. Now, Rolesville is still, you've still got, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of momentum going on. And, over the last 4 or 5 years since I've had projects going on, we have, I've attended a lot of neighborhood meetings and planning commission meetings, and I watched a lot of your stuff, meetings online. And there's just a lot of stuff going on in Rolesville. It's a nice small town charm. You got a lot of upcoming projects like the Main Street improvements, the town campus. You got a lot of momentum going on in Rolesville, and we like that. And we're not the only ones. I think the development community in general see that and feel that and sense that it's like it's coming. I know you guys probably feel like it's already there, but
yeah.
I think it's just starting to have a renaissance of, you're about to start seeing things actually happen.
Yeah, I think you're right, Bill. I think you're right. And Also, we got a lot of things approved. Like you have 2 approved and kind of waiting for you to get your sewer lines in and stuff so you can start building.
Right.
But you mentioned some of Wake County, some places you are, and also Johnson County, different places. So as opportunities out there in so many, so it's 12 municipalities in Wake County alone. How did you find Rolesville?
Well, that's a great question. So, just being here for 20 plus years, and I have a unique way about finding land. It's really difficult to find land because most of the time, land is hard to find because it's typically held for generations in families that just the timing has to be just right for them to divest that asset, right? And so, the Fowler family they own the original piece of land that which was our first project in Rolesville called Rolesville Crossing, and it's about 297 units. We already own the property. We went through rezoning, and it's about 92 acres. Along Rolesville Road and just north of Mitchell Mill Road. And we're just now wrapping up our final permitting and things. So I would expect you may see some groundwork or dirt work grading being going on probably in the summer, towards the late summer. It's been a long process, but it's a complicated project because we're installing a sewer pump station. We're trying to coordinate with other developers and builders in the area to upsize their lines to accept our capacity, and so just been a long process. So we're getting close to the end of that, so we can start breaking ground and start making some headway.
Yeah, you said it's a long process, and I imagine the economy that we're in today, which is. Who knows? Is it up or down or sideways or whatever? I guess that complicates things a little bit, does it not? Or
it can for sure. So, over the last through COVID, we just the general real estate market has been overwhelmed with existing properties and that are just seeing multiple offer situations and things going well above asking price, and our demand, our supply for new homes has been stifled. Basically, we haven't been able to put new product on the ground fast enough to keep up with the demand. And so, but over the last 6 to 8 to 12 months or so, interest rates have increased substantially. So we've seen that kind of pull back some, but we're still very, very optimistic on for 2023. 2023 may experience some headwinds. We're experiencing some of that, but the overall outlook, our area, Wake County, is pretty well insulated from a lot of with our job creation and demand. I think we're going to be just fine in this market. It just may be a little bit bumpy in 23, but we're not dropping anything. We're moving full steam ahead for sure.
Well, good. I kind of want to talk. I brought you kind of on here to talk about your new project that I think the town board approved just maybe a month ago or so. Not long at all.
Yes, back in January.
Yeah, I think it was July 2021. The town designed a new what we call LDO, land land development ordinance, and in that, I think our board today envisioned to have some opportunities for non-commercial and commercial, or residential and commercial together. And I think you have the honor, or either you could say the challenge of doing the first one. So maybe talk about two things. Maybe talk about what does the site look like that you're developing on, and then how do you envision this neighborhood to turn out?
So that is a long, complicated answer.
I
but
know.
but what I can do is I can maybe share a screen. Am I sharing?
Yes, you
There
are.
we go. And can you see my cursor moving around?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It might be a little bit small.
Yeah, it's in the middle, kind of there.
So ironically, so the Fowler family they currently own this property too. We're currently under contract to purchase this property. And so when we first set out on this particular property, well, first of all, just a couple of general things here. Where this is right at the corner of Mitchell Mill Road, and this is turned sideways. But Mitchell Mill Road runs east and west, which is kind of twisted a little bit it's kind of rotated to the right 90 degrees.
Right.
And then this is Jonesville Road. And so if you travel, this is north Jonesville Road. So if you travel north about a mile, a little less than a mile, you'll hit the bypass, 401 bypass. And so about a mile and a quarter, you'll almost get to Main Street. And so, if you ride out here, it might feel like it's far out, but the reality is it's only a mile out of your, where all your momentum and your Main Street project, your cobblestone town center district, all that stuff's going on. This is literally right outside of town. So all that being said, the site is about 146 acres total, and it's bisected by Jonesville Road. So the west side of the road, which is on the top side of your map here. Well, let's talk about the east side first. So the east side, we did split zoning, which means two separate. It's the same zoning case, but we separated the zoning, the site into, and on this side, we selected residential medium density with a cluster option. Now, what that allows you to do is, and there's about, I don't know if you can see it on your map, but on the east side, there is about, let's see, east side, there's about 86 acres. And so, and these are all going to be single family on this side, but this site particularly has a lot of natural open space, wetland area. And so when you do the cluster option, which is under the new LDO as well, it allows you to reduce your lot size to create some more density on your lots, but it also, you have to at a minimum set aside 40% of your total site as open space. And I think we're ended up, out of that 86 acres, we ended up at about 42 acres of open space. So that's right at 50% of the total site as open space. And so, yes, our lots are smaller, but you can also have, like, a lot of these lots. I don't know if you can see that cursor there.
I do.
But these lots here, and these lots back here and along this whole open area right here, this is all going to be untouched. And same thing on this pod to the north, is all these lots are going to have access or back up to open space. And so that's a little bit more unique than most typical subdivisions that you run into. So we decided to do the cluster option there. I didn't want to run too late on time, but so that's the east side. So on the west side, to back what you were saying, Mayor, the new LDO has, and it didn't have before, but it does have now, has 3 separate mixed use districts.
Right.
And so the first one is the more intense one, which is I think what Cobblestone, that may be that district. It's called the Town Center District.
Right.
Well, so the Town Center District, it typically occurs like in town. It's a little more intense type commercial. And then there's a step down from that is activity center, which is a little less commercial intensive. And then you have the neighborhood center, which is the least commercial intensive, which is what we chose for the portion of this site, which is the west side here. Mm-hmm. And so what that does means, like, so this particular side is 55 acres. And what the new LDO says is, you've got 55 acres of neighborhood center. So a minimum of 15% of that total acreage has to be dedicated as non-residential or commercial. And so that's what this area, which equals about 8 acres, which is this area here. So we have 119 townhomes kind of centered around this commercial area. And then we have about right at 69 or 70 single family homes here. What's unique about this particular site is I know that the town has gone under a lot of greenway talk and greenway plans and trying to adopt a new greenway, kind of a system to connect greenways throughout the town. Well, we have, if you can see, it's a little bit small, but these are green lines on your screen. We've got a trailhead here that residents, not only of this neighborhood, but of surrounding neighbors can use to access this public greenway all through the site. And it's showing stubbing out to this adjacent site here, coming up here to Jonesville Road, and then coming through onto the eastern side of the site and for further future connection over here. So we've got about 2.5 miles, almost 2.5 miles of greenway, which is pretty substantial.
Yeah, it is.
And we've got things planned like a community garden, pollinator plantings, like in natural areas. And that was a big kind of a bullet point what the town board was interested in, seeing some community gardens and pollinator plantings. So we try to incorporate as much of that as we possibly could in our particular project. So and I watched a lot of the meetings, public input and things through the LDO process. It's so we work hard to try to put together a plan that kind of checks a lot of the boxes as possible. So we try to put a plan together that where we know we're proud of it, and we wanted Rolesville to be proud of it as well. So
yeah, I think so, Bill. I'm looking at it. It's unique in many ways. It's just for years and years, you just had the cookie cutter neighborhoods that had the lots in it. All of it was divided up in lots with a little bit of open space and maybe a playground and maybe a amenity center. Some of them had amenity centers and pools and stuff. But this one has just about everything, and
it does.
And it has part of it has an urban feel to it. Maybe part of it has a rural feel to it. It's just a mixture of it all, I think. And I think that's what the commissioners is trying to do in Rolesville, is make us more of a unique place rather than copying some of the other towns. And I think in many ways you've created a unique neighborhood here.
Well, we appreciate that, man. I know we worked a lot. We worked very, very hard on it. And I can't take the credit there. I have to credit my collectively, my team that we looked at all the topo and the natural features of the land, and kind of like that dictate to us what ends up happening on the land, to try to not disturb as much as possible.
Yeah, we talked about a few days ago, people working in the Triangle area, they maybe work in the park or work downtown Raleigh or something. They can certainly come out here and get a house that backs up to the greenway and they look like they're just in a natural area, right?
That's exactly right. And, just for comparison, I mean, I'm in Raleigh, and family, a wife, 3 daughters, 2 teenagers, and a second grader. So, we're on a quarter-acre lot, and we're a very, very, very busy family. And I on some days I would like to have a little more space, but on the other days I'm thankful for what I have, and I don't spend a lot of time maintaining my yard because it is that small. But I don't have 50 acres of open space to stare at either, right? So there's a trade-off, right? So I think we've got a unique project here that I think will be well received in Rolesville.
I think so, Bill. And so you don't have the view in your backyard that this one might then.
I do not have the view. I have a view of the neighbor's garage in my backyard.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, Bill. I see Tony's back. I do know the developer's neighborhood. So if you want to move out here, kind of let me know, and I'll hook you up with them.
Well, thank you for your time, Mayor. I appreciate it. And I would say, again, our company is Hopper Communities. We may not have a specific website to these particular neighborhoods on our website just yet, but I would say just to check in with hoppercommunities.com to check about any future updates here coming up soon.
Yeah, before you leave, just to make it clarity for people that's watching that may be interested, your crossing, the one that's called the crossing, is going to be pretty soon, maybe. But this particular one that we're talking about tonight is several years out, ain't it?
Yeah, it's so Rolesville Crossing. We are hoped to break ground and start doing some grading in summer of 2023, which means we will have about a year of site work. So you may see homes going up in late 24. That's Rolesville Crossing, but this particular site, we just got rezoning, so we got to go through preliminary plat submittal and construction drawings. So we're about 12 months out from going through that process. So I'd say we're a good 2 years out before you start seeing any vertical construction going on this particular site.
Great.
Well, all right. So we gotta move. We got a lot of stuff we can talk to you about, Bill. This is great. I do want to, as a former science teacher. So some of the things that you showed was very impressive to me. I love the green space. I love the way that you try to decrease the impact on the environment based off the way that you have things kind of laid out. So with, then hearing about the community gardens and then the pollinator planting, that's like, you're like speaking my language over here. So I'm like, oh, this sounds really great. So thank you for that. I do have a question for you that I'm going to give you probably like a minute and a half, maybe, if that long to answer, because we got to move on. But it's kind of shifted a little bit just based off of, what you believe. And my question is, what role do you believe land developers have in addressing issues when it comes to affordability and the ability to access housing? Like, what do you feel like, how do you play a role in that?
I thought I was out of the woods.
I know that was a little tough one, but that's, in this area, that's some of the things that I know that some of the things that we want to make sure that we have in the Rolesville area. So I was wondering, what do you feel like as a developer? How as a developer, you have a role in making sure,
That's a Tony. I appreciate that question, and that's a really tough one. I think it's got multiple answers to it, and I don't think it can be solved. The affordability issue can be solved with one particular group. I think it's gonna take a collective look at how we approve subdivisions and how we get through the regulatory process. If there's a way we can kind of condense that down and speed up the process, I think that would help a lot. But in the interim, while we're working on those things, one thing we did, or two things that we committed to on this specific site, is some seed money for Homes for Heroes. We can't fix the affordability problem with one subdivision, right? It's just too much. But we can play our part. And what we've decided to do is after talking with a couple of the commissioners, we've dedicated some seed money towards Homes for Heroes, which is an organization that helps in closing costs on the buying side and the selling side for homes. And on average, they save about $3,000 per home. And then specific to this site, we have donated, we're dedicating a fully constructed townhome unit to a qualified individual for that. So, and that would be, I don't know if my screen is still sharing or not, but it would be, the townhomes are in this section right here. So the idea is that that affordable unit would have walking access to this commercial space right here. So to answer your question again, there's no easy answer, but we try to do our part, and so that's what we've committed to this project. But and we've done it in other communities, other neighborhoods, or other municipalities as well.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for what you have done. So, doing something is better than doing nothing. So we do appreciate what you have done. And then also having the insight to say that something needs to be done. So that goes a long way as well. So thank you. And thank you, Bill, for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Keep moving forward. And our next guest is Miss Melanie Crippen from the Senior Network. She is a phenomenal young lady that's going to talk about some wonderful things that they have going on with our senior community here in Rolesville. And I'm going to let you two take it away.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, Tony. And welcome, Melanie. Hope you are doing well tonight.
Thank you.
I see you around town a lot. You just stay busy. I think you got two sisters that you guys work together.
We work like 24/7.
I know. Before you get started too deep in it, kind of tell us who you are. Describe a little bio of who you are. How long you been in Rolesville, and I like to ask. I know you live in Rolesville. I think Cedar Lakes. Is that right?
Cedar Lakes.
Yeah. So how did you end up in Rolesville, of all places you could live?
Good question. The three of us, my two sisters and myself, were all born in Miami, Florida, but we have lived all over the country, not together, but as we are seniors now, we're alone, and we decided that we would live together. We have to have a large enough house so that we have our separate quarters, because we've been on our own and we're still individuals. So we do. The first time I ever came to Wake County was in January of 2020, right before COVID. And I know North Carolina very well. We spent many summers in the Asheville area because our grandparents owned a summer home there. And my son actually graduated from Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. But as far as the Raleigh area, I had not been here. So we just said, well, the change of seasons, this will be good. And we came up that January, and we basically looked at property in Wake Forest. We liked this area very, very much, and we went back to Florida. My one sister is a nurse practitioner, and she teaches nursing. And so she applied for a job here. COVID hit in March of 2020. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, she was all of a sudden offered a job up here. And so we said, well, we've got to buy a house. And we bought our house sight unseen through the realtor that we had met in January. And he showed us a number of properties online in Wake Forest and Rolesville. And we chose Cedar Lakes, and we love it. We love the community. We love Rolesville. We're very, very happy that this is the place that we have chosen to live.
Well, great. You mentioned the change of seasons, and I guess that's one reason kind of draw you to the area.
Right.
Now that you've lived here in Rolesville, what do you really like about Rolesville? What interests you here?
Well, I think as we talked the other day, Mayor, it's really laid back, but yeah, it's still progressing. It's just a wonderful place to live. Everyone is very, very friendly, very, very helpful. But it's not the hustle and bustle of other areas, at least not now, until
Right.
Bill comes in, right? No, just kidding.
Right.
But no, I think it's a wonderful place. It's a great place to raise a family, and it's a great place for seniors as well.
Right. Yeah. And you were saying right now, it's not the hustle and bustle right now. And I think that's one of the things the town board is really concerned with. They don't want to lose this small town charm as we grow. And
Right.
and if we can grow in a certain way, maybe we won't, and that's kind of where we're at with that. But I think you and your sisters moved into this neighborhood and you saw a need. And in seeing that need, you took action, and maybe kind of describe what you got going on with the senior network.
Well, the first thing, the reason we decided to do this is because when we moved here, my son and I brought up, we have a lot of stuff. We closed 3 houses, and one of my sisters and I closed a shop. So we had a lot of stuff. So my son and I brought up truckloads of our things to Rolesville, and we contacted a church because it was during COVID and we weren't sure what was open, who we could get to help my son unload the truck. And the church said, oh, we'll send people over. And they did. They didn't want anything. I mean, we gave a donation to the church, but we didn't have to. And they came and they helped us unload. And then my one sister and I came up in October of that year. And Christmas came and we said, oh, we've got to have a real tree. We live in North Carolina now.
Right.
So we called someone and said, where do we get a real tree? And he said, look, I'll come pick the 3 of you up and I'll take you. And he did. We paid for our own tree, but he was able to hold it up so we could look at all sides of it to make sure it was the tree that we wanted. He took it back to our house and set it up for us. And then we had some teenagers came and put up our Christmas lights. And I started thinking about that. And I said, there's got to be a lot of seniors in the same situation. You can't do the things that you used to be able to do.
Right.
And believe it or not, unless something unseen happens, everybody's going to be a senior someday. And we all, just can't do the things that we used to be able to do. So we decided to start the senior network. We were running into seniors in the grocery store all over town. I see more seniors here than I did in Florida, believe it or not.
Right. You were telling me about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. But anyway, so we started helping people, and we decided that we would form a nonprofit organization, the Senior Network. And when we did that, people were coming out of the woodwork. I mean, I can tell you story after story. There was one woman that she didn't have her medications for a couple of days, and she had nobody to get them for her. So she was walking with a walker, and she started walking in distance to the drugstore to get her meds. I mean, it was life-threatening. She had to have them. Somebody happened to see her and did take her to the drugstore that day. But now we go to the drugstore for people. We have grocery buddies. We help people that maybe don't have transportation. We take them to the grocery store. They do their own shopping. They pay for their own groceries, but we help them that way. We transport people to the doctor's office. And I mean, we never know from day to day what the requests are going to be. I think one of the most unusual request was one day this woman called us and told us that her bed had collapsed.
Wow.
We said, wow. And my sister and I were busy that entire day. I mean, we were just from one person to another transporting them. And so we said, well, we'll do the best we can. We decided, okay, we're going to we're going to go by there and see what the situation is. We had about 10 minutes and we were in the neighborhood, and we went by, and sure enough, her bed was collapsed. And anyway, so we said, okay, we'll be calling. Now, we use a lot of volunteers, but a lot of the men with the muscles to do this sort of thing work. And it's very difficult to get them in the daytime. Right. And by that afternoon, she was frantic. I mean, she was like, I can't sleep in this bed again. I keep rolling out. What am I going to do? And so my sister, who has a walker herself, and I went to this woman's place, and we said, we're going to look at this bed and see what we can do. So we went there, and my sister is very strong. I'm not very strong, but she held up. We got the mattress up. We got the springs up. And my sister says, okay, now you put this slat or this board back in and it'll hold the mattress. I said, okay, fine. So I did that. And as I did it, we both realized that the middle slat, the leg of it was well, it wasn't broken, but it was twisted. And there's no way it was going to hold. And my sister says, Melanie, I'll hold this up. You crawl under and do it. And I did. Now, I probably shouldn't have, but that woman was so appreciative. Now, that was a very unusual thing, but we get asked for all kinds of, different things. I mean, people that live in their own homes need leaves raked. They need the Christmas lights put up. Mm-hmm. They need a light change, a light bulb changed, or a battery, smoke detector. And
when you was telling me the story earlier, it's a lot of little simple things they just can't do.
That's right. And we're a network, and we refer people to businesses and other nonprofits as well. But we pretty much fill in the gaps because someone is not going, well, most businesses are not going to come and spend 15 minutes changing a light bulb, but we will do that.
Right. I think you told me that last year, 2022, it had like 551 requests or something.
Yeah, 541 requests.
541.
Yeah,
that is a lot of requests, and you've just been doing this for 18 months, if I recall.
That's correct.
So it's a lot. I guess the communications has spread it then.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we all of us are volunteers. And I do want to mention, if anybody out there can be a volunteer, sometimes you ask people to be volunteers and they think, oh, I got to work 20 hours a week. No, we work more than 20 hours a week, but we like to be able to call somebody if we need a light bulb changed. So we have a volunteer form on our website, and our website is theseniornetwork.org. And you can fill out a volunteer form, very simple, and someone will be in touch with you and find out what you can do. And we do have fundraisers. You want to tell us about our fundraiser?
Yeah. Before you get to the fundraiser, I think when I look around at your information and stuff, and I don't know where you come up with some of the neat ideas and things you come up with, but like one of them I think is adopt a grandparent or something like that.
Yes.
So maybe how do you come up with those things, and what are they?
Adopt a grandparent is if someone, they might be a grandparent, they may not be a grandparent, or perhaps they're a grandparent and their family lives far away. It doesn't matter. Maybe their family lives close, but they're very busy with sports and so forth, and don't spend a lot of time with the grandparent. Someone can adopt this woman or this man or this couple. And I mean, when I say it's adopt, it's just a fun thing. They can go to the movies together. They can celebrate a birthday. The family that adopts them, or a teenager. Sometimes we have a lot of those. A teenager will adopt a senior. And, some of them can drive and can take them somewhere. Maybe the family will invite them over for Christmas dinner. A lot of these people they're very, very lonely. A lot of them are.
Right.
And we see, one right after the other every day.
Right. Yeah, so it does require funds to do some of this stuff. A lot of it is volunteers, you were saying, and you do have a lot of neat fundraiser things. And maybe some of the ongoing things. I know you guys meet, at least monthly in some places, right? You have meetings. I think you have some here in Rolesville and some in Wake Forest.
Yes, we do. We have one at the Grande that's not open to the public, but we also have one on March 20th. It's a Monday morning at 11 o'clock at the Rolesville Community Center, right next to the town hall. And this time we have Renee Smith is coming to talk about Ready, Set, Paint, a great way for seniors and other people to, spend some time if they're, bored or lonely, need something to do. So we always have live music. We have door prizes donated by people in Roseville, businesses in Roseville. So, and we always, have a little favor for everybody as well. And there's no charge.
That's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's growing. You haven't been doing them in Rolesville for what, maybe 3 or 4 months now?
Yes, we've been at the Grande, but we haven't been at the one that's open to the public.
Before you go away, I do want you to mention your fundraisers. I think you have 2 big ones per year.
We do.
And you got one coming up, I think.
Yes, we do. It's a senior talent show, and it's at the Renaissance in Wake Forest. And this year, we have 2 MCs. We have 2 mayors, 2 seniors, actually. Mayor Vivian Jones from Wake Forest, because it is taking place in Wake Forest, and our Mayor Ronnie. And we're so happy that you're going to be MCing it. It's on April 15th, tax day, except tax days extended.
That's an easy day to remember.
Yeah, right. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Tickets are $20. You can get them online, or you can get them by calling us, and we sell them at, of course, all of our events as well.
Yep. And then you have one around Christmas time, right?
Yes, we take over Triangle Town Center, and we have a lot of businesses that have displays there, but it's a candy cane stroll. And we have people that get pledges for us, and they walk, and they had a great time last year. And the mall asked us to come back because everybody enjoyed it. We invite a lot of nonprofits to come, and because, we want to help everybody, but we can't help everybody. And we like to network with other nonprofits. Hopefully the chamber will be there this year.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I see Tony is back.
Yes, he is.
So that tells me we're getting close to the time limit.
Yes, we are. We're getting close.
It goes by quick, don't it? Really
I know. But I want to say, Melanie, I've been excited about all the stuff that you guys have coming up. I will definitely be in the building on April 15th for the Senior Talent Show. I'm excited about it. And then I've heard a lot of the things about the candy cane stroll that happens. So if any of you watching have not been a part of any of these senior events, they are phenomenal. So make sure you check those out. One of the things I will say from a healthcare perspective too is some of the things that you kind of mentioned is we have a lot of seniors in our communities that don't have interactions with people. And sometimes just a phone call, sometimes just stopping by, it not only improves their continence and how they feel about themselves, but it also improves their physical health. One of the things one of the things in healthcare we try to make sure we focus on is that our senior population has some type of contact at least 3 times a week, if not more, because studies have shown that the more contact they have, the healthier they are. So we want to make sure that there's someone, and you offer a great service to kind of, tie that all together. So thank you for what you're doing. It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. We would certainly enjoy. And one thing about the seniors, Tony, they know how to have fun.
I can't wait.
They do. I've been to a couple of Melanie's events, and they have fun. Like she said, they're singing and all kinds of stuff. So it's good.
It's pretty funny when she said we're going to have seniors emceeing the show.
Yeah, that's right.
Our 2 mayors, we're going to have seniors.
That's right.
Exactly. I'm excited. I can't wait. You guys are going to be good.
That's right. We'll have to have a good turnout. she had a good turnout last year, but I think it's just going to be a bit more this year. So
Yeah.
great. Thank you for coming on the show, Melanie. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having me, both of you.
Well, Tony, that was quick. Things went by fast.
It
You did a great job.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate you. Coming in and helping out on the show. You
I'm
did a great job.
frozen. Oh, Lord.
Before our time ran up, quickly tell everybody again who Tony is and your connection to town, so they know who you are in case they didn't know you before, and your business you have. I think Tony is having some video problems, so we'll give her a few minutes to try to fix that. But it has been a really a great show tonight with both Bill and Melanie on. We got some great shows coming up. So you guys stay tuned for those. I think what you will see coming up is, as Tony described, in the future there will be some guest hosts that will be from the chamber that will help out, and Tony was here for this one, but she won't be here for all of them. I think they're going to take turns. But Tony, I was asking you before, you had video trouble there and audio trouble. For people that may not know you, that are watching maybe for the first time, or new people in the community, give a brief bio of who Tony is and your business here in town.
So I'm Tony, nurse practitioner and owner of Consinity Health Direct Primary Care, that's located in Southtown Circle, or on Southtown Circle in the Rolesville Commons Plaza, which is right adjacent to the police station and Paisanos and Hunt for Homes. Plug out to those, my neighbors. But we are a primary care facility. We are actually now hybrid, and hybrid means we are a membership-based model of primary care, where you can pay a monthly membership fee to get access to all of the primary care services that you need. And then because we noticed the need in the community and making sure that we're providing access to care to all, we are now accepting in network with some of the major insurance companies. So anyone has questions about that, they can come see us. One of the great things we try to do is make sure, like I said, we provide accessible healthcare to all, and being the only primary care service or primary care practice in Rolesville, that offers a great need for our community. And I'm also serve a couple of different capacities as well. I'm on the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce. And then I also serve as your District 1 Library Commissioner. So we're doing some great things, and we're gearing up to get our library here in Rolesville in the near future. So we're working diligently on that. Every time they talk about a library, I'm like, hey, Rolesville.
Yeah,
hey,
there you
Rolesville. But before we end, I do want to share a couple of the events that we have going on from the chamber. Coming up on March 16th, we have a financial wealth workshop that's going to be at Arise. We also have business after hours and ribbons cuttings for Northern Wake Business Alliance. That's going to be March 23rd at the Greenway Beer and Wine across on Main Street in Rolesville. We also have another ribbon cutting, Coach Val. She's a customized fitness person. She has like a mobile fitness unit that she's going to bring to Arise. I can't wait to see that. I think that's pretty cool. She does focus on seniors. So I think that's kind of, want to kind of segue into what she does. She works mainly with senior women, and she can bring her mobile trailer to your house. So she's going to have her ribbon cutting on March 30th at 12 at Arise. And then, of course, some of the annual things that we do at the chamber. Our annual dinner is coming up on April 27th. We've shifted it back, from what I understand, to our original date for the annual dinner. We have our business expo in June. And of course, now one of the things we're really excited about is the barbecue and bands festival is coming back. I haven't had the opportunity to go. This is the first time that I'll be able to go.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Our golf tournament's going to be in September. And then of course, the Christmas parade in December, which is our largest event typically for the year. So I forgot to mention one other. March 14th, we have a lunch and learn at the chamber, a home buying process, with Yandy Mastromihalis, with Mastro Realty. She's going to be a lunch and learn on the home buying process. That's going to take place at the chamber from, I think, 11 to 12. I may have that time wrong, but you can always go on the chamber's website and register for those events, as well as look at and get more details.
Well, great. I'm glad you got the that pig picking barbecue event coming back. That's one that I have most people have asked me, when is that coming back? When's that coming back? You know, COVID messed that up, and now it's coming back. So that was very much enjoyed and attended by a lot of people in the community. And if this is your first one, Tony, you're going to be amazed probably at the turnout that will be there. Before we leave, just a quick shout out for next month, April 13th show. I'm kind of dedicating that show to Rolesville Chamber business, and we'll have two Rolesville Chamber members as guests on the show. One is Jennifer Burnett, which is the owner of Local Charm. Everybody knows Local Charm almost. Jennifer has become somewhat of a icon on social media with some of her videos and things that she does on selling on there. So it's going to be exciting to have her on there talking about her business and also some future business plans I think she has going on in town. So we're kind of excited about that one. And then Tara Bogle is coming on. She's a travel advisor. She has a new business in town, a travel agency business, and she may be doing her show from a remote location somewhere in the world and on one of her travel things. So you know, now you can be anywhere and be connected. So she may advertise her business from the place where she's trying to get you to go. So that will be exciting to see if she can do that.
Yeah,
so,
right. What better way to advertise than to be at a resort or some faraway destination? That's the way to work.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. One of the things she tells me about hers, and we'll get into it a little bit when she have on the show, sort of a pre to that. Most of the places she advises or kind of suggests for people to go, she has been to. She checks it out. I guess that's one of the benefits of doing that is you get to travel to a lot of places to check things out. And so she knows firsthand what she's talking about when she recommends places to go. So that'll be exciting. Tony, thank you for helping. Do you know who will be the co-host next month? Or
I don't. I should know that, but I don't. I want to say it may. I don't know. I was going to say Gwen Bailey, maybe. Kathy. I don't know. Don't make me tell you the wrong thing. I'm not.
We will.
It won't be me.
We will surprise everybody, won't we? We'll surprise.
It's a surprise. I mean, it won't be much of a surprise because we'll make sure that it's up on the billboard and it'll be on the Facebook page who's going to host next week. So, but yeah, we already have the person lined up. I just can't remember who it is. I probably should have checked before I came on so I could be able to share that information with you. But next week's going to be exciting too. I can't wait. I love Local Charm. I'm always in there. And she's a bubbly personality in person as well as on social media. So the next week you guys should have a really good time as well.
We will. And feel free to come back anytime. Enjoyed having you as a co-host. Great job. Appreciate that, Tony.
Thank you.
Any closing comments that you have?
No, I had a great time. Thank you for having me again. It's always a joy to sit down and chat with you. I will say I have only lived in Rolesville for now going on. We moved here in 2019. And I have loved every minute of being in this community. So if anyone is watching and they're trying to decide if this is a place for them to come, if you're looking for a place that's, even though we're growing, it still feels like a small community. And I'm a country girl at heart. So this is what I love. I love Rolesville. I love, the people and the community feel of Rolesville. So, and It's just been great. So that's the last thing for me to say.
Well, thank you very much and appreciate it. And Rolesville, I'll see you in about a month from now. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Thanks.